Well, hello and welcome to another video. So in this video we are gonna see the navigation setup for our application. So we are gonna have four different fragments. One will be calendar view fragment, one is for profile, one where we'll be entering the budget entries, and one where we'll be seeing the budget entries in the recycler view, which will be a report fragment. Then we'll be adding actions as well. We'll be handling all the navigation through the bottom navigation bar that we have in our main activity. So let's first create fragments. So I'm gonna create another package. So right click on the root package and create a package named UI, and I'll be dragging this main activity inside this UI. So and do refactor, and I'm gonna create another package inside this UI and I'll name it fragments. So just to make it more structured, I would say. So fragments, and inside this fragments package we'll be creating the Kotlin files for our fragments. So first is calendar view fragments, calendar view fragment, and yes, add this to GitHub, and this will extend from fragment to fragment and r dot layout. You need to import the r here, just import. So r dot layout dot calendar view fragment, and we also have to include view binding. So let's do that first. So go to Gradle file, and inside this Android block we have to write build features, then view binding to true. It's fine. Resync the project. Okay, so syncing is done. So now go back to calendar view fragment and create let init where binding of type fragment calendar view binding, then on view created, and here binding equals to fragment view binding dot bind and pass the view. So we need to create 3 more fragments, so I'll be just copy pasting the file. So just copy this file and paste this file in the same package, which is the fragment package, and we'll change the name to one we have profile fragment. So profile, and we'll be changing this layout to profile layout. Then fragment calendar binding will be changed to fragment profile binding, then here as well fragment profile binding, and paste it another time. Come on. Okay, let's copy it again, paste it, yep, and this time we'll be naming it budget entry fragment. So budget entry fragment, and binding, okay, layout will be budget entry, binding will be changed to fragment budget entry binding, and same here. Again, copy the file and paste, and this time it will be reports fragment. So change the layout, reports fragment reports binding, and here as well. So now we have all of our fragments that we'll be using in our application. Now we need to create navigation graph. So right click on this rest folder, new Android resource file. I'm gonna name it nav graph. Okay, now graph. Oh, sorry, I just had to made a resource file of type navigation, so I'm gonna delete it. Right click on res, Android resource file, nav graph, resource type to navigation, and click on OK. Now we have all our fragment, we just need to add them. So the first fragment we'll add will be the calendar view fragment, because that will be the first fragment that we'll see when we open our application. So now we can add other fragments, budget entry, profile, and reports fragment. So I'm just gonna spread them a bit so we can add actions. So the first action will be a global action, which is in profile fragment. Basically what global action is, we can move to that fragment from anywhere from our application. So that is what is meant by global action. So let's add that. Right click on this fragment, add action, and click on global. So as you can see, this arrow is not connected to any fragment. That means it's a global action. We can come on to this fragment from anywhere in our application. So yeah, now we need to add an action from profile fragment to calendar view fragment. Then we need to add action. We'll be going from calendar view fragment to budget entry fragment. Same way, once we have created the budget entry, we'll be moving to calendar fragment. Then yeah, basically I don't think anything's left. Okay, profile to calendar, calendar to budget, budget to, yeah, nothing is left. So yeah, that's what we have in our nav graph. And now we need to set up this navigation to our bottom navigation bar, which is in the main activity. So go to main activity XML. We need to include view binding here. So private late init var binding of type activity binding. Binding equals to activity main binding dot inflate, and pass the layout inflator, and change this our layout activity main to binding dot root. Now we need to write some code. We need to have access to nav controller. So let's create another variable for nav controller. So private late init var nav controller of type nav controller. Then here inside the onCreate, we'll need to have access to nav host fragment. So let's create another variable for that as well. So well, nav host fragment equals to support fragment manager dot find fragment by id dot id dot nav host fragment. And as you can see, if I press Control and click on this ID, it will take me to activity main XML file, and we can see that I have an ID nav host fragment here in our fragment, right? This fragment will be basically loading all the fragments that we have. So now go back to the main activity, and we need to cast it as a nav host fragment. Now we need to pass this, we need to use this nav controller and nav host fragment dot find nav controller. Now we need to set this nav controller to the bottom navigation. So binding dot bottom navbar dot setup set up with nav controller and pass this nav controller here. Perfect. Now only thing is remaining is we need to create a menu as well to set up our navigation bar. So right click on this rest folder again, new Android resource file. I'm gonna name it bottom underscore nav and the resource type will be menu. Click on OK, and here we need to create items. So the first item will be for our budget entry, so I'm just gonna name give the title of enter budget, and ID will be, here we need to make sure that we have the same ID from our navigation graph. So go to navigation graph, navgraph.xml, open the split layout, and here we'll have the ID. Where is it? Budget entry fragment. So just copy from here and paste it here. So it is important that we have same ID in both menu and navigation graph. Anyway, let's create another item. The ID here will be reports fragment. So let's go to the navigation graph again and reports fragment, just copy it here from here and paste it here. Forgot to add ID here, and the title will be C reports. That's it. We don't need to do anything else. So our navigation is set up, bottom navigation bar, and we don't really need to do anything else. And we'll set up fragment level navigation when we'll be writing the code with the logic. So for now, for this video, I think this will be it, and in the next video we'll be probably covering either room database or Hilt library for dependency injection. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell notification so you can get the notification whenever I post a new video, and you'll get the notification when I post a new video of this playlist as well, if you are interested in this particular playlist. And also like this video if you are enjoying the content, it will help a lot, and share this video with your friends who are into Android development with Kotlin. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.